Thank you so much for coming through. We're going to talk because I'm hearing things about you. I'm hearing that you're emotional. I'm hearing that you're in your feelings. I'm hearing that you're not doing okay. Actually, you might be doing okay, but let's talk. If you're new here, what's good? If you're regular here, what it do? What it do? I want to talk to you guys because yesterday, right, I made a video on dealing with doubt and unbelief. Now, the last couple of days, your girl's been in her feelings, right? And I'm pretty sure some of you guys can relate when you're in your feelings and you're just like, I don't want to. I don't need to. I don't even care. I do care, but I don't even care. What am I doing? Shall I even waste my time? Is this even worth it? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't really care about this. And I know, like, sometimes, right, we're getting our feelings and we stop ourselves from moving forward. We stop ourselves from making the right decisions. We stop ourselves from living out our God-given purpose. And sometimes you can have regrets from doing things from an emotional place, right? I've spoken about that before. You can check out one of my other videos at the end. I was in my feelings. And when it comes to your goals, when it comes to living out your dream life, when it comes to success, when it comes to living out your God-given purpose, right? When it comes to anything that requires you to come out of your comfort zone, it's going to take you not being reliant on your emotions and your feelings to get you there, okay? Like, your feelings can't be the driving force for where you want to go. Your feelings can't be the driving force because one minute you feel like it and the next you don't feel like it. And I'm saying this is why a lot of you, right, us, me, we, right, this is why sometimes we're unstable and we're inconsistent with things that we set our mind to, because one day we're on it, the next we're not. And I don't think I know what I'm talking about. I really want you guys to have a think about how many things you've done or how many things you haven't done based on how you feel. Yeah, you thought? Because a lot of the time, right, when we're reliant on how we feel, it's stopping us from really stepping out of our comfort zone, being consistent, being disciplined, and persevering, okay? Persevering. And a lot of the time, because we don't feel like it, we stay stuck, we stay comfortable, we stay in our comfort zone because our feelings are telling us, I can't be bothered. Our feelings are telling us, I'm not good enough. Our feelings are telling us we're scared. Our feelings are telling us that you're jealous. Your feelings are telling you that this man don't love you and now you want to cheat, but really he does because you're just in your feelings. I don't know if I'm touching it, I'm telling you, you're in your feelings. And I think sometimes, and you know what, right? It's completely normal to have feelings. Everybody watching this right now should be a human. If you're a human watching this, raise your hand. If you're a human, right, it's completely normal to have feelings and to have emotions. But if we get into the habit of doing things from an emotional place, from a place of how you feel, right? It might get a little bit messy. It might get a little bit tricky. You might not get the results that you want, and you might find yourself stagnant, yeah, in the same situation, staying where you're comfortable, getting in situations because you feel like it. What about what's right? What about what's the truth? What about your goals and your dreams and everything that you've written down? That, listen, right? How many of you have written down a goal for this year and haven't been consistent with sticking to it, or you haven't even started it at all? How many of you guys have written down goals for this year, said, yo, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this time. I'm gonna do it, and you haven't done it? Why? Because you don't feel motivated. And if you wait for motivation, right? If you wait to feel motivated to do something, when is it gonna get done? What if you don't feel motivated for another 3 months? What if you feel motivated in 3 months and you feel motivated for a week and then you don't feel motivated again? And this is what happened to me yesterday. Like, yo, your girl was doubting, had some negative thoughts. I was questioning, is it even worth it? I was questioning, like, should I even be doing this? And I was having all these thoughts about some of my own personal things, right? I had to continue doing what I was doing, working at what I wanted to work at, doing what I wanted to do, right? Regardless of how I felt. I didn't feel like doing some of the things that I had to do yesterday. I didn't even feel like being positive. Like, I was trying, but the negative thoughts, that cloud of doubt, right, felt like it was ruling the show. Like, it felt like the doubt was overriding everything that I've been talking about, that I've been believing for myself. And the negative thoughts were coming. I'm proud of myself because regardless of how I felt, right, I still did what was right. Regardless of how I felt, I still did what I needed to do, even though I didn't have to. And in my opinion, when you choose not to be driven by your feelings, when you choose not to be driven by your emotions, right, and persevere regardless regardless.
That sets you apart from the rest.
Because not everybody is going to have the life that they desire. Not everybody is going to reach their full potential. As sad as it is, not everybody is going to push themselves beyond their limits. Not everybody's going to challenge themselves and live out their God-given purpose. But if you want to separate yourself, right, and make sure that you're showing up the best that you can in friendships, the best that you can in your family, the best that you can financially, physically, spiritually, if you want to make sure that you're showing up the best way that you can, the decisions that you make can't always be from an emotional place. It's like yesterday, I was having these thoughts and I was thinking to myself, like, am I ever going to reach my goals? Is it ever going to happen? Is it possible? And you know what, right? Being emotional, doubting, right, will have you second guessing what the plan is, will have you second guessing what God said, will have you second guessing what the truth is. Listen, it will have you second guessing, and one day you're certain and you're confident about everything that pertains to your life, right? One day you're certain about where you're going, one day you're certain about this man's for you and this woman's for you, right? And then get a bit emotional and you're questioning, like, is this person even for me? Is this person even for me anymore? Why? Because you're emotional. But a couple of weeks ago, they were the one. But you're emotional now, and all of a sudden they're not the one. And this is what I'm saying, right? Imagine being in a relationship. Imagine being in a relationship, right? We're not talking about situationships because we're done with them. We're done with them. Listen, we're done with them, all right? We're not emotional. We're done with them. Imagine being in a relationship, right? Women, let's talk. Imagine being in a relationship, right? Every day you love the guy. Every day he's your king. Every day you're like, he's mine. You know where I'm going with this. You get a bit emotional. Why? Time of the month. Yeah, time of the month is coming through, and the light's coming through, the sun's coming through. The sun, just wait, man, I'm talking. Now all of a sudden you're emotional and you're questioning, like, do I even like the man? Do I even want to be with him? How come I've moved in with him? How come I said yes? Because you're emotional. And then who knows what you could do during that time because of how you feel, because of your emotions. Listen, how many of you guys have done things from an emotional place and then you look back and you're like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. So I really need you, right, to be a master of your emotions and to start mastering your triggers. Because if you know what your triggers are, then you can better work on how to manage your emotions. Because listen, if you're somebody that's constantly driven by emotions, that is easily triggered, right, and you become emotional really quickly, and you become emotional about a lot of things, right, you're not in a place of self-control and power, because now you're influenced by external circumstances. And I'm not saying it can't happen to anybody, but it's how you deal with it. And if you're a very emotional person, guess what happens? You become reactive. And now, because someone's cut you up on the road, because someone's spoken to you a certain way, it affects your whole day, right? Then the kids have to feel it, your manager has to feel it, your family has to feel it. Now you don't want to work on your goals because someone's just spoken to you in a certain way, and now you're saying you're going to put it off till tomorrow. But then guess what happens? You put it off today, that rolls into tomorrow, and then it could turn into a week, and it could turn into a month. And this is why, right, a lot of people end up being derailed. A lot of people end up becoming derailed from the mission. A lot of people end up becoming derailed from where they're going. I don't know what you want for your life. Right? For you to get out of your feelings, right, it's going to require self-control and being clear about why you need self-control in this particular area. It's like that saying that says, be scared and do it anyway. And I fully understand that, because if you listen to the doubt, if you listen to the fear, if you listen to these niggling voices, right, if you listen to the outside noise, it could really stop you from taking, the throat, you hear that? It could really stop you from taking leaps of faith, okay? And walking in faith, that fear can't be existing. If you want to walk in faith, right, you haven't got time or the capacity to be functioning in an emotional place. You haven't got time to be sitting in feelings. And you know what, let's talk about friendships. I always talk about goals, dreams, living at your God-given purpose, but let's talk about friendships and relationships. If you're stuck in unforgiveness, right, because it's hate, it's anger, it's bitterness, it's pride, it's the ego, it's this, that and the other, you haven't got room to operate from a whole place. A lot of people don't want to forgive because of how they feel. Okay, I get it. If you haven't forgiven somebody, if you're hurt, if you're bitter, if you're angry, right? The message right now is for you to get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings, because forgiveness, right, is about you. Forgiveness is about letting go of that dead weight, all right? Because it's holding you stuck. Like, if you think about yourself as like a cup, and the bottom of the cup is the unforgiveness, you haven't got any more room in your cup for any more water, because it's full of bitterness, anger, hatred, jealousy. And I'm saying it's time to make room. You're robbing yourself from living up your fullest potential. You're robbing yourself from being present in this very moment because you're emotional, you're frustrated. And you might say, oh, I don't care about it anymore. But what if that person knocked your door right now? What if that person knocked your front door right now? How would you feel? How would you react? If that person phoned you right now, how would you feel? How would you react? How would you respond? I'm saying get out your feelings, because being in your feelings is stopping you from moving forward. Being in your feelings is causing you to do things that you wouldn't usually do. You might not even be able to recognize yourself right now because you're doing things from an emotional place, not a logical place, and you're thinking, nah. And let's not even talk about how your emotions will have you overeating, right? Smoking, drinking, indulging in casual sex, and being jealous and having ill intentions for people. And I'm saying you need to get out of your feelings. We're all human, we all have feelings, we all have emotions, okay? I'm not trying to shout, I'm just trying to, be a bit kinder, be a bit more chilled. I get it, all right? Like, we're not robots and we are gonna feel things, and you might be thinking, but Shan, I've got anxiety, Shan, I've got depression, Shan, like, that person really hurt me, and I don't know how to get over it, I'm struggling. You might be thinking like, yo, I'm horny, I'm frustrated, sexually frustrated, I ain't had no sex in a long time. You might be thinking like, yo, like, I'm human though, like, these are normal emotions and feelings to have, so why are you telling me that I need to get out my feelings when this is how I'm feeling right now? Yeah, I get it. Yo, I get it. You might be saying, but Shan, that chocolate tastes so good. That chocolate, that Snickers, that Dairy Milk, that Cadbury's, that chocolate. Because let's talk about chocolate. I loved chocolate. I gave up chocolate last year for Lent, and I ain't had it in a year. Yo, that's a big thing for me, because I really thought I was addicted to chocolate. I thought I was addicted to chocolate. This is what made me start studying. I studied food and nutrition, did my master's in nutrition and behavior, because I was trying to understand me. Like, yo, why am I eating the way that I'm eating? Like, I'm eating this chocolate like it's gonna go out of date. Like, listen, only to realize, right, that your girl was an emotional eater, and me and chocolate just had this relationship where chocolate understood. You get it? Chocolate had my back. Anytime I needed it, it was there, and if it wasn't there, I'd go find it. Chocolate had my back, and it was soothing, it tasted good, it hit all the right spots. Not realizing that I was struggling with some things, not realizing that I was trying to block out these difficult emotions, not realizing that I was struggling and I needed something to soothe me, I needed something to give me pleasure. And for me, it was chocolate. Not realizing that, yo, yeah, it tastes good, but was it doing any good for me? Was it solving anything? And me being an emotional eater helps me to realize that I was an emotional eater. And a lot of you guys are probably emotional eaters, binging, snacking, overspending, becoming dependent on alcohol, weed, like, you name it, right? But you're in your feelings, you're struggling with some things that you're not dealing with, okay? And I need you to get out with your feelings, because you're getting in your own way. You're getting in your own way by not dealing with the things that you need to deal with, okay? And for some of you, you might feel that Jesus is calling you to another place. You might feel that he's telling you to let go of the relationship, to let go of something, and to just fully trust in him. And you might be hurting, you might be struggling, you might be saying, how am I going to do this? Because I'm angry, I'm depressed, I'm frustrated, I'm hurt, this, that, and the other. And you might be saying, Shan, but how am I going to deal with the anxiety? How am I going to deal with the depression? How am I going to deal with the hurt? How am I going to get through this? Because you're right, I'm emotional, I'm in my feelings, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed, I'm embarrassed. The Bible talks about how our heart is deceitful. Now, this isn't talking about the physical organ in terms of like your heart. This is referring to our thoughts and our emotions, because some of the times, right, our emotions and our feelings are clouding our judgment from what's true. And because you think it's true, you're operating from a place of being emotional. And just because you feel it, just because you think it, it doesn't mean that it's true. And this is what it means when it says our heart is deceitful. And it says only God knows our heart. Only God knows our true intentions. Only God really knows what we're thinking and what we're feeling. God knows our heart better than we do. Okay, this is why it's important to ask God to help us and to check our heart, because sometimes we think that doing things from a genuine place, but really you might have bad intentions. Really you're doing it from a hurt place. And when it says, right, that our heart can deceive us, right, our heart can be deceitful, that's because it can cloud our judgment. All right, it can cloud our judgment, and we can miss out on opportunities that are right in front of us. Okay, but sometimes because we're emotional and we're operating from how we feel, we don't operate from a place of truth. We don't operate from a place of what's right. Okay, and this is why you gotta stay prayed up. You gotta stay prayed up, and you can't be moved by every little thing. You can't be moved by how you feel. That scripture reminds me how unreliable our emotions are, how unreliable we are as humans as well, because sometimes, like I said, we can think that something is true, we can believe that something is right. I don't know about you, but I've done things based off my emotions. I've done things off what feels right. It feels right, let me do this feels right. And then later down the line you're like, hold up, wait a minute, I messed up. You got to stay prayed up, because our emotions can deceive us into thinking that something's true and it's not. Some of you guys might be hurt, right, because you've been cheated on. You might be hurt because your heart's been broken in the past, and you could be with somebody right now, right, that's a good person, that isn't cheating, that isn't messing around, that isn't creeping around. But because of how you feel, you have this gut feeling that he's cheating. You have this gut feeling that something's going on. But again, just because you feel it doesn't mean it's true. Yes, your feelings are true, but your feelings doesn't mean reality. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You might think that somebody's acting a bit weird with you. You might think that someone's acting a bit off with you. Someone's acting a bit out of character. But you've got trust issues because of friendships in the past that have done you dirty. Okay, just because you feel like this person might be showing up in a particular way, it might not be true. It might not be true. It might be you that's in your feelings and has things that you need to deal with. The heart is deceitful. You're probably sitting here right now thinking, who can I trust? If I can't trust myself, who can I trust? Like, if I can't trust my heart, my judgment, who can I trust? What can I do? God, Jesus. Like, that's what you're gonna have to do, because right now sometimes we're doing things, right, that could have been avoided. Sometimes we're doing things from a hurt place, from a confused place, from a place of doubt, this, that and the other, right, and we're causing a mess, we're causing a shambles, and it all could have been avoided if we just prayed and trusted God and not tried to take things into our own hands because we was emotional. Nah. I ain't doing that no more. 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 Because a lot of the time we're trying to mask our problems. We're trying to mask how we really feel. The Bible clearly says that you have not because you ask not. Now my question to you is have you asked Jesus to help you? Have you asked him to help you? Have you asked him to help you in your weaknesses, to help you with these difficult emotions, to help you to let go of the bitterness, to let go of the anger, to let go of the hurt, the embarrassment, the pride, this, that and the other? Have you asked? Okay, that's the first thing. Okay, now if you've had the faith to ask, right, to ask for help, that's good, because you had the faith to ask, which is great. But then also, right, what you have to stop doing is exposing yourself to the trigger. Start exposing yourself to that very thing that's going to cause you to keep getting emotional, if it's within your control. Okay, if it's in your control, start putting yourself back in those situations. Start entertaining those negative thoughts, that self-doubt, the fear, right? You have to start entertaining the negative thoughts. Start entertaining the doubt. Start entertaining, right, the unbelief. Because the more that you entertain it, the more that it will manifest, and you will find that you then become a negative person. You will then become an emotional person, and we need you to be balanced. We need you to be level-headed. We need you to have a sound mind, because if you have a sound mind, if you can think clearly, if you can operate from a place of self-control and not being driven and triggered and easily reactive, right, then you're onto something, and that's what will make you above average. Okay, you don't want to be average, sitting in bed and laying up in bed all the time because you don't feel like getting up, you don't feel like showing up, you don't feel like doing your goals, you don't feel like doing what you believe God's called you to do. And I need you, right, to exercise this. This is an exercise. This is not just about asking God for help with anxiety. This is also about you doing what's in your control. Do you need to start going for walks? Do you need to go therapy? Do you need to start journaling? Do you need to let somebody go? Do you need to manage your money better? Do you need to help yourself in particular areas, right? Do you need to go and get help with your drinking problem? Like, I'm telling you, it's about being practical and you doing what's within your control. Like, that's a good combination, because the Bible says without faith, one, it's impossible to please God, but also faith without works is dead. So if you've got the faith, right, that God is going to deliver you from anxiety, that He's going to help you with depression, that He's going to help you with this anger that you've got, but then you keep putting yourself back in situations, then how is it going to work? And that's what I used to do. Okay, I used to pray for God to help me put myself back in situations, and then before you know it, your girl was binging on the chocolate every day, multiple times a day, not realizing that I was trying to cope, not realizing that I was trying to cope with life stresses. And you've got to have healthy outlets on how to manage your feelings. I need you to get out your feelings. It's not serving you. It's not serving you. Yes, you're human, but don't stay there. Some of you guys have been stuck, right, with these feelings, with this anger, with this frustration, with this jealousy, with this fear, right? For how many years now? For how many years now? How many years have you been stuck? And it's stopping you from moving forward. It's stopping you from feeling liberated, from being happy, from just being free in your mind. You stopping yourself, and I don't know how long you want to stay like this for, but I'm saying it's time to move. It's time to move and get out your feelings. And you know what's interesting, right, for my Bible readers, if you're not a Bible reader, try read the Bible. It's interesting. God will speak to you. You'll learn some things. Let's talk about Noah for a minute, right? God says to Noah, it's gonna rain for 40 days and 40 nights. There's gonna be a flood. I need you to build this ark. God gives Noah a step-by-step strategy, okay? And he's like, this is the plan. This is why we're doing it. This is where we're going. This is the plan, okay? This is the plan. And then when you keep reading, you can see step by step what God told Noah to do. And then it goes on to talk about how long it took for the flood to dry out. Now, not once, right, did it talk about how Noah felt. Not once did it talk about him complaining, him groaning, or anything like that. Now, we can assume that he felt this way. We can only assume that he was thinking, why should I even build the ark? Like, this is a stupid idea. Like, why am I doing this? This is long. Like, I don't want to do this. This is effort. And then even waiting for the flood to dry out, it doesn't say that he complained. Okay, maybe he did. Maybe he did, because he was human. But what I'm trying to say is his feelings were irrelevant. His feelings were irrelevant for the mission. His feelings were irrelevant for what God was telling him to do. His feelings were irrelevant. And that's what I had to say to myself yesterday when I had this doubt, right? When I had this negative talk, when I was getting in my feelings about where I'm going with my life and the goals that I've got and this, that, and the other. I just really believe that God was saying, yo, get out your feelings. Because if I stayed in my feelings, right, I would be like in my bed, chilling, like not even chilling, just allowing the doubt to fester, and then it would manifest into my actions. And I'm like, we ain't got time to be stuck in our feelings. You ain't got time for it. You haven't got time for it. You want to be free. You want to move forward. You want to have an abundant life. And I don't just mean money, okay? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you want to have an abundant life, and you want to show up, right? Feeling free, like feeling free. And this is why I'm a big believer of writing things down. I'm a big believer of writing your goals down. Big believer of writing down the vision that you believe that God's given you for your life. I'm a big believer in journaling. I'm a big believer in taking it all out of your head and putting it on paper, because you see the days when you don't feel like it. You see the days when you don't want to show up. You see the days when you can't be bothered. You see the days when the doubt comes in. You see the days when you're self-sabotaging and that imposter syndrome's kicking in. You see them days. You see them days, right? You can't rely on your feelings or your emotions to be the driving force that gets you up out of bed. You can't rely on those feelings and waiting to be motivated, waiting to have this oomph and this energy to get you to the next chapter, to get you to show up on the things that you know that you need to work on, the things that you know that you need to do, to work towards your goals, to work towards that dream life, okay? Like, because being emotional will have you lacking self-control, have you lacking discipline, have you lacking consistency, because now you don't feel like it. And I'm saying you ain't got time for that, okay? Like, get them goals written down, because that's what I had to do yesterday when I had that doubt, when I had those horrible, like, negative thoughts, right? Yo, I had to come back to my paper. I had to come back to my goals. I had to come back to the plan and the vision and remind myself that this is where we're going regardless how I feel. This is where we're going regardless of how it looks. I need you guys to become clear about your why, become clear about why you're doing things, and stop letting your emotions and your feelings get in the way. Because regardless of anything, right, regardless of how you feel, if you have a goal, if you have a vision, right, your feelings can't be getting in the way, because it's going to stop you from having an abundant life and your dream life. And I'm saying nah, that's not my portion. I'm saying that's not my portion. And this is why I'm kind of glad that I'm single, you know, because it's easier to speak from this place when you're single and all your thoughts are your own, all your headspace is your own. Like, it's all mine. It's all mine, baby. It's all mine. Because I'll be honest, if I was in a relationship right now, right, if I was married right now, I don't know how I'd be. I don't know how I'd act. But right now I'm single, so I'm saying, listen, if you're single right now, right, embrace this time. You're in a good space right now. Okay, you're in a good space. You don't have to really consider someone else's feelings. You don't have to really be thinking about somebody else. You don't have to do that. All your thoughts are your own. So I'm saying embrace that and maximize on being single. Work towards your goals. Pray about everything. Ask God to help you. Let's do this. Let's do this, y'all. Let's do this. Listen. Guys, I'm so happy that you've made it to the end of this video. If you haven't yet subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, because you know that I just gave you some gems. Holla.